What is going on, everyone, and welcome to another episode of ToyShopFab. This is my 1987 Chevy Silverado, and today I'm going to show you guys its power. It's power steering leak, and we're going to fix it by swapping in another used pump, because that's what I have. Yep, I have a used pump laying around. I'm kind of a hoarder. When I buy vehicles or purchase things off of Marketplace, I usually like to keep certain things around. I'll keep power steering pumps, alternators, starters, fuses, stuff like that, because you never know when you're going to need it, and it's nice to have something like that on hand. The power steering pump that we will be putting back in this truck, I believe, was the original pump that came off this engine. And I purchased this engine many years ago and did one of my cheap rebuild kits on it. Pulled it apart, resealed everything, cleaned it up. But anyways, held on to that pump right here. I went ahead and just pulled off the pulley that was originally on that pump, so we can get it ready for the pulley that matches this whole accessory setup on this truck. Now I'm going to show you guys some of the tools I used to do all this. You just need basic tools, really. The only special tool you might need, let's see here, I'll grab you this box. I picked this up from Harbor Freight. You could probably get it off of eBay or Amazon. Let's see if there's that number right there. It would be MG12A-1. So if you got on eBay or Amazon, looked up that number there for this tool kit. This is what I'm using to swap out the pulleys. But let's hop up in this engine bay real fast and let's pull this pump out. All right, got you in the stand. Now, some of the tools I will be using. Got a flashlight right here. Got a 5/8, 15 millimeter, 9/16. Woo! Half-inch regular screwdriver and half-inch drive ratchet. This guy here is going to be used to help tension our belt once we go back together with everything. And you put that guy in that little square hole right at the top of our air compressor or our AC pump bracket. You guys ever seen this here and wondered what it's for? It is for either a breaker bar or a ratchet. Breaker bar would be easy, but that's what that's for. Now, the 1/2-inch wrench, that is going to fit a bolt that is on the very bottom of our power steering pump. See if we get you down here a little bit more. There is a 1/2-inch wrench down there, and I just dropped that wrench, so I will have to remember to grab it. All the other bolts I have on here are going to be the 9/16. We got on right here. This is an adjuster bolt. And there is 2 adjuster bolts. The 1/2-inch on the bottom of the pump needs to be loosened in order to needs to be taken out or loosened up in order to take off or loosen up the belt. Same with this 9/16 here. So if you ever just loosen the one bolt here and you're trying to move your power steering pump to tighten up the belt and it's not moving, it's probably because it has this 1/2-inch bolt down here that is also needs to be loosened up in order to adjust your belt. So go ahead and get the other bolt out of this guy up here. And they're really easy to get to. As a matter of fact, you can probably get in there with a little ratchet if you had one of those, but sometimes it is therapeutic just to use basic hand tools. Take your time while you're loosening bolts up and stuff. You can kind of check out everything else that needs to be fixed or addressed. So, all right. So we got that 9/16 out. Got that one out. got those two top ones undone. Now I'm going to go ahead and use my 15mm. Loosen up the multiple adjustment bolts on our AC pump. One, two, and we got another one right here. So there's 3 bolts you need to loosen in order to adjust your belt. And then it has another pivot one right down here. Once your pivot bolt is loose and all 3 of your adjusting bolts are loose, then your pump should be able to move, so you can loosen up your belt. Go ahead and get this guy out of the way. You don't have to take him completely off. Just get him out of the way, so now you can get to your power steering pump. Now, hopefully you guys can see my hand. Maybe. See? Waving high. But right here, right at the very bottom. Right. Believe all of the bolts are out of our power steering pump. Yep. So now we can go ahead and pull this guy out. Lucky for me, this thing has been leaking all morning. There really shouldn't be too much fluid left in there. Now I'm going to leave my hose connected to my power steering box. So I'm just going to take the 5/8 on our pressure line. Go ahead and knock that line off. There we go. So just going to go ahead and leave the hose on the box itself, and just disconnect it from the back of the pump. Now the next thing I want to do is go ahead and pull off our return line, and that is where the regular screwdriver comes into play. You can use a regular screwdriver, or you can use I believe this one looks like a 5/16 socket, but this one has no pressure on it. It's just, or slight pressure I should say. It's just a return line. Butterfingers. Off. Now let's get this thing on the ground and pull that pulley off. Alright, so here is our pump. Now let's demonstrate our little pulley removal tool. Now I need to get this pulley off. For one, this is what drives, this is what matches my accessory drive in the truck. 2, I need this bracket down here because this pump does not have one. So I need this guy here in order to mount this pump up in the truck. And this little kit here has a bunch of little adapters, little fittings to help you install and remove your pulley. One thing I will want to give you a little tip or a little heads up is, get this up here real quick. The threads on this guy here, here's your jam nut that helps you install and remove everything. Get some never sees, put on those threads, especially if you're going to use like either an impact or a ratchet, something that uses any kind of power. It will help you not gold up your threads and keep everything running nice and smooth. So, but here we go. So now what we're going to do In order to remove this pulley, let's get you down here now so you can see it. There's a hole right in the center there. You're going to find one of these pins that are in the kit. You got a short one and a long one. Now that guy here, he's a little too long, so we're not going to use him. I'm going to go ahead and use this this shorter one. Perfect. And that's going to sit right up in that guy right there. Make sure that we are all the way up. Yep. Everything is sitting down where it is supposed to be. Now, grab your other tool here. It's got two halves and this little sleeve. You're going to see there are two different sizes of hole. Now the smaller one goes around your power steering pulley and the larger one goes around the flange of this nut. So go ahead and put those guys on here. Grab your little sleeve, it goes around, helps hold them in place, and then just go ahead and turn your center bolt to where you have tension up against your two halves. Now everything is now got pressure, it's holding that out, sleeves being held on, everything's under a little bit of tension. Go ahead and grab your crescent wrench to hold the jam nut there. You can use a ratchet, air impact, cordless, like anything I'm doing right now. And you're just going to tighten, hold your jam nut and tighten your center bolt. Just like that, it pulls your pulley off. So now you can take your little half off, take your little half moon or your shoes, your half shoes off. Go ahead and set that back in place. Grab your nut, your jam nut, and your center bolt there. See your pin. Will come out here in a second, but that is how that works. Now, this guy seems to be a little bit tight, but no biggie. Go ahead and grab some pliers so we can pull him out. All right, grab some pliers. Go ahead and just pull our little pin out there. Get this adjusted. There we go. Shouldn't take too much. I just couldn't pull it out with my hand. It's got just a little bit of dirt in there, kind of holding it up. So now that we got that guy out, go ahead and blast those guys off, which I believe are also 9/16. All right. Nope. Those are 1/2 inch. What do you know? It's the dirt. All that grease buildup. So, 1, 2, 3. Got our bracket off. There's our pump. Now somewhere around here, it looks like it might have been leaking, not this front seal, but it looks like it's been leaking around this edge here. So, no big deal. I know they do rebuild kits and stuff like that for these things, but I had one in stock, so I'm just going to go ahead and change it out. This one didn't look like it had any issues. Fingers crossed. But, put this guy over to the side. Wipe this down. I'm going to go ahead and get this bracket cleaned up, get it reinstalled on our pump. So I'll be right back. All right, got our pump cleaned up, got our bracket cleaned up and reinstalled on our pump. Now we're going to go ahead and reinstall the pulley onto our pump using the same toolkit. Now I'm just going to go over some of the steps. But if you pick up this kit, you can see it does also have instructions on the lid as well to kind of help you out with the whole process. So inside this little shaft here is got threads. We're gonna go ahead and just thread in the smallest of the adapters we have. Now I'm gonna get it to go down a little bit. I'm gonna use a rag here to hold back up on our pump shaft. Make sure that guy goes all the way down. There we go. Cool deal. So that is all the way down. I'll be able to take that out as soon as I get everything, as soon as I get our pulley reinstalled. So got that guy there. I'm going to use a little bit of Never Seas on the inside of our pulley. Kind of helps with the installation of everything. And if there's any like little gaps or imperfections between the pulley and that shaft, that should help kind of seal some of that up. So I'll go ahead and get that guy there. Now this same center guy, it threads over that little stud we just installed into our shaft. That guy goes on. Inside the kit's this little bearing. It's got, like, you can see it's kind of got a crown on one side, flat on the other. Install it crown down, flat up. Here's our jam nut. That guy is going to thread down on top of that little bearing. There we go. So now that we have that, we are going to need that 1/2-inch wrench that I have. Where is it? Use our 1/2-inch wrench to hold back up on our center bolt there. And use a crescent wrench to go around our jam nut. And start just threading the jam nut down. And as long as you'll know if anything starts getting into a bind, because the way it feels as you're tightening up this nut. But just every so often, go ahead and just give your pulley a little bit of a turn, just to kind of see how it is progressing onto your shaft. Give it a couple little taps. Whoops. Just give her a little bit of a turn every once in a while. This is still nice and flat, nice and even, so our pulley is going on even. Go ahead and just add a washer to that guy. Just needs to go down a little bit more. All right. All right, see our pump, our pulley is installed on our pump, comes all the way up to where it sits originally on that pump shaft. So now I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing reinstalled back in the truck, get our hoses hooked up, and then we're gonna go ahead and fire the truck up and test it out. So we'll be right back in a sec. All right, pump is reinstalled in the truck. Now, this particular system, get you guys in here so you can see what we got going on. All right, pump is reinstalled in the truck. Hoses are hooked back up. Now, this system here, this particular system uses both the power steering pump and my AC pump here to put tension on the belt. So to keep from having to fight everything, I just put in the pump and put it back in the original spot it came out of. So now all I have to do is just use my AC pump here to put tension on the belt. So now you can see there. And I'm just going to put a little bit of tension on it. Give myself about, I would say no more than an inch of wiggle. Right, you do want it snug. So that'll work. Go ahead and tighten up all our bolts back up. So. And here's another little piece of advice for you in case this is your first time and you're wanting to tackle it on your own. When you go to put the pump back in the truck or in your vehicle, whichever vehicle you take it out of, and they've got something that has multiple hardware, like this one has this bolt here, a bolt up here, and a bolt down there. Just put it in by hand, leave it loose. Give yourself a little bit of room to move or wiggle everything around, because everything's always got a little bit of play. And I've seen too many people put in the hardware or put in the bolts and tighten the first one they get in, and then they can't get the rest of them in. So just leave them all handy so you got everything in the truck or in your car before you tighten everything down. There will be a lot less cuss words and a lot less tools flying around. So one more bolt. Pump is tight. Belt is tight. Already got fluid in our power steering pump. Just gonna leave you guys right there. We're gonna go ahead and fire it up and check for leaks. So here we go. Shut it off. Just kind of want to see where my fluid level is at. Fluid level looks good. All right. Belt still feels good. Didn't see anything spraying out anywhere, so that's awesome. So let's go ahead and refire up the truck. Start putting some movement in our steering wheel. See how it works. Go ahead, give me 1 second. I'm going to need both hands here real quick. We're going to work the wheel back and forth. Good morning. Yep, it is the next day. Would you guys believe me if I told you the pump I had sitting around for the last few years was no good? Didn't work. I couldn't believe it either. But I had an issue with that pump. It would not bleed. The pump was not pumping. So I had to pull this truck back apart. Went down to the auto parts store last night, ordered a new pump. Got it installed this morning. So there it is, all nice and freshly rebuilt new pump from our auto parts store there. And it installs, same methods, same tools, nothing changed, nothing's different. So now we can go for a test drive. Okay, I have not driven it yet. I did fire it up, made sure it was topped off with fluid. So everything is good to go. Steering wheel turns the wheels. So that's nice. But now I got some old batteries and some oil in the back of this thing that we are going to be going on a test drive and returning those to the auto parts store. So here we go. Back at the shop now. Test drive went successful. Test drive was successful. Power steering, good power steering stuff. There is no leaks, no unnecessary noises. Everything worked great. So, too bad my spare pump didn't work, or the pump I had laying around. Too bad that didn't work, because that'd saved me about $75. So, but it is what it is. It was a gamble, didn't work. But anyways, power steering is fixed. Truck is now back on the road. It's not leaking fluid everywhere. So, hope this video helps some of you guys out. Get on Amazon or eBay and find one of these superior automotive tools. Maddox. Power steering pump pulley remover and installer. I actually picked that one up from Harbor Freight. So if you got a Harbor Freight near you, grab one of those things. It will make changing that pump out a breeze. Or O'Reilly's rinse tools for free. So, matter of fact, when I was in there returning the batteries and the oil, I saw that kit, or a very, very similar kit, on their little chart that's on the counter there for tools available for rent. So, you can save yourself some money there too. But anyways, guys, I hope this helps some of you guys out. Hope it showed you that doing this yourself is quite easy, and it'll save you quite a bit of money, keep you from having to take it into one of those shops. But thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for watching. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Got a lot of other projects I'm working on. Just waiting on parts. But thank you guys again for hanging out. Thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. And I'll catch you guys later.